you take your time. There's something about the love of things you like. Fire when the strobe hits. Bet you're looking for something new. I feel the heat with you staring up across the room.
Hello everyone, how you all are at your home? I hope that you all are fine and good at your home. And I am also fine over here. So you all are welcome to Vidya Bal Bhavan Senior Secondary School in your English language class. Okay, 10th by Miss Purnima Bhardwaj. Okay, now you just have to identify these pictures. Okay, now I'm showing you some pictures and you have to identify these pictures. Hopefully you have got the pictures. These pictures are of tiger. Yes, students, you have suggested and got the thing that is correct. These pictures are of a tiger. So today we are going to have poem number 3, that is a tiger in the zoo. Okay, the book is First Flight. Let's have some instructions. Okay, upload your homework on the portal. Okay, if you have doubts, you just have to mail them on vbbseniors@gmail.com. And if you are not able to upload your homework on the portal, okay, so you can upload and mail the homework as well on vbbseniors@gmail.com. Okay, now take a pencil with you to underline the difficult word and write the meaning as well as on the spot. Write down all the words with their meanings in fair notebook. Okay, whatever word meanings I am giving you, students, you have to write down in your fair notebook. Next is do all the uploaded work in fair notebook. No printouts should be accepted in the school. You have to do everything manually, means with your hand. Okay, so let's go further. Let's have the introduction of the poet. So the poet is George Leslie Norris. Okay, he born on 21st May and died on 6th April. From 1921 to 2006, was a prize-winning Welsh poet and short story writer. He taught at academic institutions in Britain and the United States, including Brigham Young University. Norris is considered one of the most important Welsh writers of the post-war period, and his literary publications have won many prizes. Norris published his first poem in 1938, and by 1943 he published his first book of poetry. His career as a poet began to take off when his first collection, Finding Gold, was published in 1967. By 1980, Norris published 3 volumes in the Phoenix Living Poets. His publication, Ransons, had won the Poetry Society's Alice Hunt Bartlett Prize in 1970. In addition to poems and short stories, Norris published translation, biographies, and reviews. His personal works deal with such themes as his Welsh home, his past, especially the pre-war period, his experience as a teacher, nature, and the life of the instinct. He considered a fine technician. In 1989, he published a translation of sonnets to Orpheus with another professor at BYU, that is Brigham Young University. Okay, now he is the poet of the poem. Okay, George Leslie Norris. You can see the picture over here. So let's move forward, students. But before moving forward, I want to tell you one thing, that we are studying here the Cambridge based studies. okay, in which before any kind of chapter or poem, we just have to do the pre-things. Pre-things include the introduction of the poet, the word meanings and the accent of the words, okay, and in chapter as well, okay, the introduction of the poet and the word meanings of whole chapter, and then the starting of the chapter. Okay, this is known as the Cambridge based studies. This is known as, so why? Because internationally Cambridge based studies are very necessary. Okay, whenever you will go out of the India, okay, you will face and you will see this kind of study only. Okay, out of India also these kind of studies are there. Okay, so now let's move on further with the word meanings of the poet. Okay, so write down with your black gel pen the words and the meanings with the blue gel pen in your notebook. Take your pens, take your notebook and start writing. Okay, and speak after me with the correct accent. Okay, so first is stalks, STALKS, stalks. This means follows. Next, vivid, 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 means bright colored. Next, pads, PADS, that is paws of tiger. Next is rage, 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 means anger. Next is snarling, 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 means warning sounds made by animals. Next is bearing, BARING, bearing, means uncovered. Next is fangs, 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 means sharp tooth of animals. Next is lurking, LURKING, that is to be hidden, as to wait for your prey. Next is patrolling, 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 to guard, to vigil. Okay, so let's move forward with the objectives of this video. Okay, in this video you will have the introduction of the poet, the word meanings with accent, reading of the poem with intonation, question answers of the poem. I will just give you on your uploadation in your software, students. Okay, so that you must not be able to face any kind of difficulty in loading the question answers. Okay, and then we will have the recapitulation. Okay, so now let's next move forward. Okay, so let's start with the poem. Okay, as we have seen in the name of the poem, that a tiger in a zoo. Okay, it means that there is a poem. Okay, in this poem there is talking about a thing that is a tiger. Okay, and he used to live in cage. Two kinds of tigers are there. Okay, the ones who live in the cage and the next one who lives in the forest. Okay, in this poem we will talk about this. Okay, the tiger who lives in cage are they have the limited kind of space, and the tiger, those who live in forest, they have full on space and they have very huge space to roam around. Okay, poet says that the lions which live in cages, they don't have that kind of personality. Okay, and the forest tigers, if we see on the other hand, they have the good personality. Okay, now that was just an introduction of the poem. Now let's start with the poem. So, the first stanza. He stalks in his vivid strips the few steps of his cage, on pads of velvet quit, in his quiet rage. Okay, this was the first stanza, students. Okay, now I will tell you the line-wise meaning of this poem. But first of all, we will see the meanings of stalks and vivid. Stalks means follows and vivid means bright colored. Okay, he used to follow in his vivid strips, colored strips. Okay, he used to follow and go and walk in his vivid strips. Okay, next is the few steps of his cage. The lion that is in cage, he used to walk only few steps in the cage because the limited space is there in the cage, on pads of velvet quit. Okay, so here what poet is saying that on the parts of velvet quiet means parts means paws of a tiger. Okay, this means that velvet is a kind of cloth, okay, that is very silky, soft. Okay, this means that tiger walks around, okay, and his paws are like velvet. They are very soft and they are very quiet, means when he walks he doesn't create any kind of sound when he is walking. Okay, so the last line of this stanza is in his quiet rage. Okay, quiet means extreme silence and rage means extreme angerness. So here poet is using two different words in a single sentence. Okay, and why he is using, let's see. What is he saying? That in his quiet range, when the lion is in zoo and being locked in a cage, okay, he is just hiding his rage, his angerness. He is not able to show his angerness. Okay, he is in a cage and he is hiding his angerness. Let's move to the next stanza. He should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass, near the water hole where plump deer pass. Okay, so let's have the meanings again of the first line. Lurking. Lurking means to be hidden as to wait for your prey. Okay, to hide yourself and waiting for the prey. Okay, he says that he should be lurking in shadow, means he would be waiting in the shadow for his prey. Okay, sliding through long grass. Okay, he was just sliding through the long grass, okay, to wait for the prey near the water hole. Okay, he is near the water hole so that if he may feel thirsty, he can have the water where plump deer pass as well. Okay, now he is also looking for his prey, also the deer. Deer is the favorite prey of the lion. So where the plump deer passes. Okay, plump means fat deers. Okay, he used to be lurking in shadows, sliding through long grass near the water hole where plump deer pass. Okay, so here the personality of the forest lion is being showed. Okay, and in the first stanza the personality of caged deers were have been shown. Okay, now next is they were talking about the deer, the prey of the lion. He should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass, long grasses. He would be sliding over there near the water hole. Okay, and where the plump deer passes means the fatty deers, very fat and very good deer, so that he can eat them. Okay, now let's have the next line, next stanza. He should be snarling around horses at the jungle's edge, baring his white fangs with his claws, terrorizing the village. Next stanza is he should be snarling around horses. Snarling over here means the sound of the tiger when he roars, the angry sound of the tiger. Okay, whenever he used to come, he used to snarl around. Okay, so that everyone must be aware that a tiger is coming. Okay, in this stanza the poet is talking about the lion, those who are living in zoo. What kind of things a lion in the zoo must do? Okay, he should be snarl around the houses. Okay, he used to walk around the jungle's edge and the houses near the jungle's edge. Okay, bearing his white fangs, his claws. Fangs means, let's see the meanings of fangs. Sharp tooth of animals. Okay, here the sharp tooth of lion is being given. Okay, so fangs means sharp tooth of animals. So here the poet is saying that he should be wearing, okay, he should be bearing. Bearing means wearing or having his white fangs, white tooth with his claws. He should look like a dangerous creature. Okay, terrorizing the village. Okay, he used to scare everyone around the village. Okay, that I am coming, you should be aware of this. Okay, he should be means he used to do the things like this. He can do the things like this, but the reality is different. He is not doing. But he is locked in a concrete cell, his strength behind bars, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. Okay, what the poet is saying that, but he is locked in a concrete cell. Concrete means solid cell, in a cage, a kind of. Okay, next is the poet is saying that his strength behind bars. Okay, but he is locked in a concrete cell. His strength behind bars means he is locked. The lion in the zoo is locked in a concrete cell. Okay, his strength is also behind the bars. His personality is also has been locked, and his strength has been also locked in the behind the bars. Stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. Stalking means to roam here and there. Okay, he's just walking around. He used to walk around the cage. Okay, and he used to ignore the visitors, whoever come. He used to ignore them. Okay, so next let's have the next stanza, please. He hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. So let's have the first line. He hears the last voice at night. So he hears the last voice at night. Okay, the patrolling cars. Patrolling means the guard. Okay, the vigil. Okay, they used to guard the things. They used to visit here and there to take care of the things or the creatures. He only hears the patrolling car's voice at the night and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. He used to stare the stars with his brilliant eyes, means the stars are also shining and his eyes were also shining in the night. Okay, so we all are aware now that the lion in the cage is very sad. Okay, he just used to be in his cage and doing the various things. Okay, he used to ignore the visitors. Okay, he used to look at the stars with his eyes, and he used to hear the voices of the patrolling cars over there. Okay, this was the end of the poem, students. Okay, now let's have a kind of recapitulation of the poem. Okay, students, first of all, let's have the introduction. The Tiger in the Zoo poem. Okay, The Tiger, the poem written by Leslie Norris, explains the agony and helplessness of caged tiger that lives in a zoo. Okay, there is a poem which we have read right now with the proper intonation. Okay, it explains the agony and helplessness of caged tiger that lives in the zoo. The poet explains what his life could be if he had been a free animal. Okay, the poet is just explaining that what kind of life he would be having if he would be a free animal, like lion in the forest. The poet has tried to explain about the condition of animals that are caged by human beings for their own fun. Okay, so he was just explaining the conditions of the animal that are caged by human beings. Okay, for his own fun, that wasn't meant to something else. So now let's have the summary of the poem. The poet begins with the description of a tiger that is very beautiful and is walking in his little cage. He has beautiful strips on his skin and has velvet-like soft paws. But the tiger is not happy and is quite angry about being confined in the cage. The poet says that if the tiger was not confined in the zoo cage, he would have been hiding himself behind the long grass near some water body in order to catch its prey, that is, the deer. Also, he would have terrorized the residents of the villages around the forest area. But the reality is totally opposite to this. He was confined in the cage, which was made up of strong building material, and he was helpless there. He could not show his power to the visitors, therefore never tried to terrorize them. The tiger is described as being powerless and agonized by the poet. He says that during night also he is alone, hearing the voice of the patrolling vehicles of police and looking at the stars. The cage life has totally changed the tiger's personality. The poet is trying to say that the animal, which is famous for its fearlessness and freedom, is confined and sad due to the human beings who want to derive pleasure by looking at him in the zoo cage. So this was the sadness of the tiger which has been shown by this poet. Okay, he just wants to express the feelings of the tiger, okay, the kind of things he was thinking and the kind of feelings he was having when he was in a cage. Okay, so now let us discuss about the literary devices of stanza 1. Rhyming scheme is ABCB. Cage or rage. Personification. The tiger is personified because the poet refuses him as he. Okay, next is metaphor. Tiger's paws are compared with velvet, that is pads of velvet. Enjambment, that is sentence is continuing to next line without any punctuation mark. Next is imagery. Poet tries to create an image about the tiger. He stalks in his vivid strips the few steps of his cage. Next is consonance, that is use of S sound, stalks his strips. Next is assonance, use of vowel sound I in his vivid strips. Next is oxymoron, use of adjectives opposite in meaning, that is quite rage. Okay, so now let's discuss the poetic devices of stanza 2. Students, don't just get panic. Okay, I will send you all these things, okay, in your portal so that you may understand everything. Like I have done for you the stanzas with their meanings, word meanings, and with their explanation as well, and their literary devices. Okay, I'll send you, okay, and you can just have them. So literary devices of stanza number 2. Rhyme scheme is ABCB, that is grass, pass. Next is enjambment, that is line continues to next line without punctuation marks. Those are sliding through, dear pass. Next is alliteration, use of sound P at the start of two words, that is plump, pass. Next is imagery. The poet has tries to create an image of tiger's activities, that is lurking in shadow. Okay, now let's have the literary devices of stanza number 3. So rhyming scheme is ABCB. Rhyme scheme is followed as H and village. Next is embellishment. Line continues to next line without punctuation marks, that is he should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge. Next is onomatopoeia, using words which denote sounds, that is snarling. Assonance, use of vowel sound O and I should around horses, bearing his white his. Next is consonance, use of consonant sound S, his fangs, his claws. Okay, now let's have the literary devices of stanza number 4. First is rhyme scheme, that is ABCB, that is bars and visitors. Personification, the tiger is personified because the poet refers him as he. Personification done. Next is assonance, use of vowel sound E. He locked concrete and cell. Consonance, use of consonant sound S, his strength bars. Next is alliteration, use of sound B at the start of two words, that is behind bars. Let's have the literary devices of stanza number 5. So stanza number 5, that is the last stanza. Okay, rhyme stream ABCB. Rhyme stream is followed, that is cars, stars. Next is enjambment, that is line 3 continues to line 4 without any punctuation mark and stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars. Okay, next is alliteration, use of sound H in the starting of two words, that is he hears. Next is assonance, use of I sound with his brilliant. Okay, now with this we are over with the literary devices of this whole of the poem. So let's have what we have done in this video. Okay, we have done the introduction of the poet, the word meanings with accent, okay, reading of the poem with intonation, explanation of the poem is also there, literary devices of the poem, and the recapitulation. Okay, students, after this I would like to say you thank you so much, and just watch every video, because these videos are not gonna be taught you again. Okay, the syllabus that has been over till yet will not gonna be taught and repeated again. Okay, so be very careful with this and learn the things side by side, that may not hamper you in the last. Okay, so thank you and keep watching this.